BVB Brian's video blog.
Here's a nice shot of the river we first came in and saw. Let's zoom in a little bit. This is the river that feeds the Wasabi Farm, and the water is incredibly clean and clear. Here we are at the famous Wasabi Farm, and underneath this mesh covering are the wasabi plants. If you look below, you can actually see running water. What's the name of this wasabi farm, honey?
Wasabi Nojo.
Wasabi Nojo? That means wasabi field. No, what's the name of it? It's famous in a Kurosawa movie.
I think that's the name.
My wife doesn't know the name. Okay. Very interesting. I don't know if this is the main part of the field or the only field or a small part of the overall farm. We'll find out. Here's the same wasabi field I just filmed, and we were over on the right side in the previous shot. But underneath this mesh covering now, you can see how much water they use, how the water flows through the wasabi farm here. As my wife said, wasabi requires a lot of clean water. Well, there's my wife up there, and I just took these pictures from over there, and now I have climbed down this little area here and come over to look underneath the mesh to get a good look at the wasabi. So let's get a good shot here. Zoom in a little bit. As we zoom out a little bit, you can get an idea of how big this field is. These poles you're seeing are probably taller than me, or about as tall as me, and you can see looking under. Now let me look over, and this is what we were seeing before, this type of view. Again, we're going to look under, and this is where they grow wasabi. I didn't realize wasabi requires so much water. Let's zoom in on a few of the plants here and see what they look like. Look at the water. This water is incredibly clean. That's the little lady up ahead. We're crossing this bridge, which I will call the Wasabi Bridge. And to our right, this is the wasabi field I first captured, above and below. And as we pan back to the bridge and to our left, the wasabi field continues. This sign says, "Feel how cold the water is." Let's look down at the water. Here's my hand. The water is cold. This is mountain water from the Nagano Mountains. And here's a good example. Now let me zoom in to show you how they plant the wasabi. The soil is actually very, very, very wet, and a lot of stones. I think the stones, honey, are probably to keep the soil in place. That's my guess. I don't really know, but the wasabi's planted in rows, and it uses so much clean, cold mountain water. Very, very interesting.
Not soil, but sand.
It's sand, huh? Yeah.
Wow.
So again, as I zoom back, you can see this mesh. Ooh, she put her cold wet hands on my neck. It felt good. Do it again. Woo! And you can see the covering. Oh, that feels good. And this is a pretty big field. See kind of the river flowing through. Or I should say a small part of the river. Looks like this young lady's enjoying the water. Sumatai desu ka? Sumatai? 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 Sumatai. It's cold, huh? So here's a little pond next to the river. And some koi, honey? Yeah, very nice koi. Zoom in on a couple of these critters. Oh, it's not koi, huh? What is it? Yeah. They're not koi. It looks like we've determined that this is the Wasabi Nojo, the extent of the wasabi farm. It's not that big, as I'm going to pan around and see. Here's the bridge that kind of separates the two fields. The field we were just looking at is a little bit bigger, maybe a little bit. And here's the other side. We'll do a 360 panorama. There's the pond we were just at, shooting the fish that I don't think were koi. And this gives you a good look at this Wasabi Nojo, the famous wasabi farm used in a Kurosawa movie.
BVB Brian's video blog.